What law states that a thin stream of liquid will fold back on itself when falling? Which law says the best way to get the right answer on the internet is to post the wrong one? What law claims the more you fear a task, the longer it expands in your mind? Which law says any gas in a closed space will smell worse over time? What law states the closer you are to missing a train, the more it's going your way? Which law says the more boring the content, the more likely it's accurate? What law claims the probability of bread falling butter side down is proportional to carpet cost? Which law states a meeting's duration grows with the square of attendees? Which law claims the most vocal online commenters are least informed? What law states the more you use a word, the more it loses meaning? Which law says the longer a technology exists, the longer it'll likely last? What law claims any headline ending in a question mark can be answered no? Which law states the more you prepare for disaster, the less likely it'll happen? What law says the more a resource is monitored, the more it'll be abused? Which law claims the first myth of management is that it exists? What law states the easiest way to find something is to buy a replacement? Which law says the more you explain a flaw, the more people ignore it? What law claims the more obscure a fact, the faster someone will correct you? Which law states the more you tighten rules, the more people evade them? What law says the more urgent the email, the less important it actually is? Which law claims the more you multitask, the worse you get at it? What law states the more you automate, the more work you create? Which law says the more you optimize a system, the more fragile it becomes? What law claims the more you rely on GPS, the worse your sense of direction? Which law states the more a rule is enforced, the more it'll be circumvented? What law says the more complex a system, the likelier its failure? Which law claims the more you reward behavior, the less intrinsic motivation remains? What law states the more you hurry, the slower you progress? Which law says the more choices you have, the harder it is to decide? What law claims the more you plan, the more surprises will derail you?